Hello, and welcome back to our channel. Just gonna do a little catch-up book haul here. Just the stuff I've kind of accumulated since probably November, December, January's kind of thrifting collections, and I think one present. So let's go start off. Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I haven't seen the movie. Don't really like Quentin Tarantino, but I was curious enough, and I quite like the almost sepia toned pictures from the movie there. It looks too long, 400 pages. Hollywood 1969, you should have been there. I'll, I'll read it, but I don't know. No guarantees that I'll like it. Couple of Matt Bolan books, one from the 2003, one from 1998. This was written by Richard Renault. This one was written by Tom Shield. Trying to remember it. Tim Somhiel. These are probably just very formulaic. I haven't read any of the Matt Bolan books late in the from this era. Just read the kind of executioner books that Don Pendleton has written. So get to those at some point. But when I see them, I just grab them. They're usually pretty cheap too. Found a bunch of this series that I've never heard of. It's set in the Vietnam War. It's called Chopper One. This one is number 2, Tunnel Warriors. I looked around for the number 1, and it was going to be like $25 to $30. So I just started reading. The second one, and you really don't need to know. You don't really need to read the first one to enjoy it. I don't think. It's quite enjoyable so far. It has the usual casual sexism, racism, jingoism that you expect, but it's not totally egregious, so it's still fairly enjoyable. Number 3, Jungle Sweep. It's also quite funny because I know very little about the Vietnam War, the actual war. Pretty much the only thing that I know from the Vietnam War is like its actual cultural impact on society, rather than the actual anything about the war. So yeah, actually, we'll probably do some. Probably have a few Nam books lying around actually that I'll get into after reading some of these. Number 4, Red River. All these covers are amazing too. So you always have to buy these books when you see them, because you never know when you're gonna see them again. And a lot of these haven't been published in Kindle edition or anything. And so to get actual physical copies from eBay and that these days, it's gonna cost you around $30, and that's not really for Canadians anyway. For Americans, it might be quite cheaper, just because internal postage and stuff, because most of these books are in America. So just for me, I can't really be messing around with $30 a book when they're not even that good. This is Renegade MIAs. Oh, and all these books are written by Jack Hawkins, who seems to be famous for this. I don't really know him, and he's quite hard to Google because there was a pretty good British actor back in the day, like 1940s, 1950s, called Jack Hawkins. So yeah, finding out things about him on the internet is quite hard too. Number 6, Suicide Mission. Again, all the covers are amazing, and there was so many of them. Number 9, Payback. They were like 50 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents each or something. So yeah, I had to scoop them all up. And then number 10, Monsoon Massacre. These would be great things for reading for Garb August 1.5, or as I'll probably call it, Garbebury. The kind of weekend reading reading festival, readathon that Criminali is hosting as a kind of catch up introduction to his Garb August, which was launched last year. But just for those that aren't aware, and for those that can't wait till August to read some more trash, he's decided to do a kind of midway point. That's why it's Garb August 1.5. To get people in the mood. And yeah, I think it's second weekend of February or something like that. But head over to his channel, get all the details there. Okay, next up, I've never heard of this author, but they're Edgar Award winning. It's Thomas H. Cook. This is The Interrogation. basically, it seems like some cops have got to interrogate a confession out of somebody. Looks very propaganda. Kind of got the Law and Order thing going on there. I don't really usually read a lot of cop books, but I'll read it. I'll get into it. See how good it is. But I don't really have much time for books that glorify policing, because I think it's deeply flawed. But there you go. Let's see how it is. This is a great find. I can't even remember how much this was. This is very cheap. Probably $1 or less. I don't really spend much more than $1 for books from secondhand shops. The Panther and the Lash, Langston Hughes. This is a bunch of poetry from Langston Hughes. Vintage classics. Oh, it has that really like lovely textured paper too. So this is originally published in 1967. And this edition's from 92. Yeah, originally published in 1967, so it's gonna have some great stuff on the civil rights movement, probably then. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. When did Langston? Yeah. Oh, I don't know enough about Langston Hughes, but I do know that I do like. Yeah, Birmingham Sunday. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so yeah, it definitely does. Birmingham Sunday, that's about the Birmingham bombing, which was huge. Huge event in the civil rights movement that really could have helped really push along the advancement of what eventually led to the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Violent Spring by Gary Phillips. I haven't read Gary Phillips, but basically, any fans of Walter Mosley should read Gary Phillips. This is a great cover as well. Berkeley Crime. And Walter Mosley even has a little quote on the front. Ivan Monk takes on a corrupt world. He's ready to go down fighting. He makes us feel that the war he's waging is for your own salvation. So one of the things I love about private investigative books, especially the ones that were more 30s to the 50s, is they really do get involved with like taking on corrupt society and kind of things. That the beauty of the private investigator is they're outside of the system, and so they can really look at the systems in society and kind of take it on. And so I think when you have an African American PI, you can really do a lot with that. Like Walter Mosley did such a good job with his different series. I completely forgot. Easy Rollins series is the one I've read, but even the other ones I've heard are really good too. So yeah, he's a really good just looking at kind of America through the years, especially how the treatment of African Americans, and just really very good to explore different aspects of corrupt systems and society. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I think it was written in like 94 or something. Yeah, 94. Got The Relic. This is Steve Donahue, very much recommended. I love the movie, which I think came out in the late 90s. Michael Madsen. This book was written in 95, 94, 95, 95, I believe. 95 by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. Basically a monster stalks the halls of the New York Museum of Natural History and I think it's believed as a massive new exhibition is on. And yeah, so that's I love the movie, so it's probably gonna be a great book too. And I love reading books that I've seen the movies too. I love like comparing the two. This is a present. Michael Ondaatje in The Skin of a Lion. This was is generally a lot of people's favorite Canadian book. I've heard a lot of people say In the Skin of the Lion is up there with their favorite Canadian books. I've never read Anthology. I haven't been meaning to. I think I have a copy of that too, but not as a good version. But I've always been put by him because of The English Patient. That movie dominated my childhood along with Titanic, and it was too big, too much, and it was just too too crappy. And yeah, the parodies were great though. All of the parodies of The English Patient were fantastic. But yeah, the story itself really put me off reading Michael Anthology. But I heard he's pretty good, so I'm gonna read that. The Vic by John T. Lescroart. Don't know him. It's like I said, I don't really like I've said a lot. I don't really read a lot of modern crime books. I generally read between 1920 and 1950. 1990 this was written. I usually just read 1920 to 1950. Probably something I should be more concentrating on this year is more modern. I'm gonna still read in the my 1920s, 1950s wheelhouse, but I'm gonna read some more modern stuff too, just to get a flavor of what's going on around. I mean, the main modern stuff that I've read is kind of like some of the Scandi noir and Icelandic noir. That's probably the most widely I've read modern stuff. Other than that, just kind of like Christopher Brookmeyer things, but I haven't even really read anything similar to him either. So yeah, I should probably concentrate more. The other thing I wanted to concentrate on, and this is why I bought this one, is to read some of the books from lists like the CWA, Crime Writers Association's book 100 Best Crime Mysteries. And I know the American Mystery Writers Association had response to that too, and this one is named one of the century's 100 favorite mysteries by the Independent Mystery Booksellers Association. This is Robert Craze, The Monkey's Raincoat. So yeah, I think I want to try and read some of the more critically lauded and appraised crime books. And this was originally written in 1987. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good. Meet Elvis Cole, LA Private Detective. Any book that's got an Elvis in it is pretty good too. Yeah, so that's the catch up. Hopefully that was all good, and I will see you again shortly, I hope. Bye.